Hi, my name is Nick Hiratsuka, and I'm the director of Houseless. So if the setting wasn't different enough to tell you, this behind the scenes is much different than what we typically do. We're not in our typical room. I'm not wearing a suit. I'm wearing a sweaty green shirt. And yeah, I'm just outside, which is new to me. What is all this green stuff and the blue above me? Maybe being a little over dramatic, but yes, this is very different if you couldn't tell already. So not only is it visibly different in my parts here, but also the rest of the behind the scenes. With this film being guerrilla filmmaking, there wasn't a lot of time to plan. It was very much so go, go, go. So we didn't have a behind the scenes camera, really. We did have an iPhone SE that we were primarily using for audio, so when it wasn't being used for audio or the secondary camera, it was kind of a B-roll camera, but the point that I'm trying to convey here is, unlike the knock behind the scenes, where it was very much so going through each department, showing all the aspects of all the shoots and all that kind of stuff, this is not this. This is just a collection of footage that didn't get thrown into the main movie for whatever reasons. Maybe it was a blooper, maybe it was just the camera rolling when the scene wasn't rolling, just to give you an idea of what the kind of go, go, go filmmaking style was. So a lot of the shots aren't pretty, aren't well composed. It's really just turning on the camera and we keep doing what we're already doing. So my apologies for that, I guess, but I figured it would be something. It would allow me an outlet to talk to you guys about Houseless a little bit more. And then on top of that, just kind of show you a little bit of the run and gun guerrilla filmmaking that we had to do. Which is why I want to bring up, normally I do this at the end, because I always forget, but I want to say it now. If you have not seen Houseless, watch it before you watch this, preferably, or you could watch this, and that might help you decide if you want to see Houseless. That's also fine, but just be warned, there may be some spoiler stuff here. So with that said, on to the collection of unorganized videos, basically. Yeah.
Ready?
Rolling.
Are you ready? And rolling.
Hey, buddy.
How you been, dude?
Been good, man. Been a while, man. Well, like a year and a half or something.
Something like that, dude.
Shit.
Crazy.
How you doing?
You know, I'm good, man. I'm good. I just got my degree, and parents are pushing me to get my doctorates.
Jesus Christ. Still relentless, man.
Way back, yeah.
Exactly. No,
Because
so that's perfect because it'll be
you know, it
better.
could be just slightly open and the printer's not working. So.
That's perfect. I'm just gonna walk up and that makes it better that I like dip down
And
a
if you're
little
looking
bit.
for a leading man, Walter over there is out of work actor. So.
It's very aesthetic.
Awesome.
Oh, okay.
You'll probably hold it so he doesn't sit down in your hand or something. Yeah.
So it could be like selfie style.
Mhm.
No?
Yeah.
Yo, hold on. It's starting to rain. And this is bothersome because I have to have the microphone out so he can hear me.
Also, there's a bit of a sprinkle kind of happening right now.
Yeah, that's fine. What am I upset about? What's the... Sitting here trying to call James, but he keeps dicking around and he won't answer his fucking phone. I'm trying to talk to him about something serious. This is annoying as shit. You know, every time you try to make a fucking movie and do something, there's always a wrench gets thrown in the gears. I'm sure he's just fucking around with his perfect life while I'm out here.
Aspect ratio changes between like scenes and shots. Just
So, they're having a talk here, they're talking. One person here, the other person talking. Scene opens, smoking, drinking a little. He comes in, and maybe they're face up there. At some point, they're doing slow. Maybe it's a little bit wider out here. More stuff kind of like this, kind of here. Blah, blah, blah.
oh sweet.
Listen, dude. You know. Stop. There we go. Thank you. You need fucking help, you little piece of shit. No, you fucking listen to me, you motherfucker. God damn it, James!
So just so you can see what we're kind of talking about it.
We haven't even asked any questions. We could just start shooting like a gay porn in here, just fucking on the table, and they're like, oh god! Romance film. I think it'd be perfect for it. It's about a guy that, cut. Actually not going to be in scene at all?
Correct. You'll hear a voice. Kind of like...
So I'm going to sit like right there.
I'd say stay about where you are so he can walk up and come to you over here.
It is more like.
Alright. Hold on.
Wait, he walks up to me?
Yes. So the whole thing happens off camera, just so you can hear it.
Since we've come
Oh, we're
back
not sitting here?
Nope.
Oh.
Well, let's just do it.
Let's sit down, let's just roll a little bit of stuff because I want to see how it looks playing back. Oh,
So-
get him.
Oh yeah. Well, no, wait. We're not actually
Look at that.
going to
It's
be
changing.
filming. It does change a little bit if you
It's
just do a little bit of that.
Dude, come on, get him, dude. He killed me. You gotta kill him now.
Oh shit! Shit!
Oh, dude.
Motherfucker!
Damn it,
God
dude.
damn it! He fucking teabagging me, dude. Why is he doing that?
Sure. Speaking of teabags.
Speaking of teabags,
All right,
let's
hold
get
on.
real game. Cameras on these phones are pretty damn good these days. I think it's not all lost yet.
Oh, it mentions the alcohol.
Oh yeah, and you know a little bit of that money went to a beer. I don't think that's so bad. I mean, it's a wheat beer. It's not even really alcohol, and this is the only time. I'm not gonna go back down that road. So.
Okay, so then I'd probably do knock as you're wrapping up, like selling my shit. Cameras are pretty damn good on the phones nowadays.
pretty good
So that would be about the time I do my first knock. And like, I don't want to talk to anyone right now, but anyways, you got this for you. Talk about the beer a little more than I do.
Should I say like I don't know who that is? It's probably James.
Maybe.
No.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, no. We haven't seen each other
Yeah,
for a while yet.
for
He
about a
wouldn't
year
just be.
or
Yeah, he
so.
wouldn't be coming to my door.
Maybe like think of it as like, oh, is it the landlord? Whatever, I don't care. But then you kind of like think about it as like, oh wait, maybe he's here for a reason. Or something
Yeah,
like that.
I'm like shit. It could be my landlord. I'm a little late on rent.
Yeah, that would work. I'd say.
I'm a little late on rent. I guess some of that means this money's gonna have to go to rent. And then I knock. What the hell? I mean, I don't want to talk to anybody.
And after the second knock, you open the door, see this thing on your door, on the screen, open that, just read it, and be like, oh, fuck, and then just kind of throw it out, and then you can say something along the lines of, now I'm fucking evicted. Oh, that's great, but fuck, guess I'm homeless now.
Or like even like waving in front of the camera. And this, my friends, is an eviction notice. I guess I'm fucking homeless now.
Yeah,
Something like that.
yeah, I think that works. So you see that little red dot blinking in the corner, and the timer is telling you how long you're going for.
That's
That
waiting.
just means you're recording.
Oh, I'm recording.
Yeah.
So then I need to get used to looking into this lens and not actually looking at.
The viewfinder.
It's a good camera. Gotta be careful with it.
So the last film we did a behind the scenes for was The Knock, and that was very different in both the film and the behind the scenes. And relatively speaking, that came out not that long ago, which is still crazy to me, because It's Not Just a Joke took about 2 years to make, then Love took about 4 months, and then The Knock took about a year. But this film, pre-production was about a week. Then in production, we had 2 shoots that were all day, and then the last scene at the bar, which was then going to be the third day. And then editing was really just a couple of sittings. I think I got the main chunk done in one sitting after the first shoot. Then when we did the second shoot, I edited all that. And then the final cut would be another third day, so about then 3 days of editing. So we went from, if it wasn't so spread out, about 2 weeks to make this film compared to how long it took all the other films. And the reason behind that boils down to how we made this film. So the idea of this film actually came while I was making The Knock. In the last behind the scenes, I mentioned how much of a hassle pre-production and casting was, and it just kind of made me wonder, how far would I go to make this work? And then just another long list of questions I continued to ask myself going down that rabbit hole, and ultimately it led me with the idea of this film. In fact, the initial plan for the film was that I was going to do it 100% on a phone. I was going to play Ben's character, and then I would actually live the character's life for however long it took me to make it. So I didn't at the time know it was going to take 2 days, but I thought, well, in that case, I would essentially be homeless then for the week or so I made the film. Kind of luckily for me, that didn't actually happen, but that was the initial plan for Houseless. But a lot of those kind of ideas stuck around when it came time to actually make Houseless. So this film's style can really be summarized in 3 ways. The first is guerrilla filmmaking. Going in with kind of as little of a plan as possible, doing what you need to do, and then getting out as quickly as possible, and hopefully having enough footage. Now, a lot of real people who use guerrilla filmmaking get arrested for that. But luckily, we made sure to stick within the legal limits of guerrilla filmmaking, because what a lot of people will do is then go to public places where typically a permit would be required to film. They don't get a permit, film there anyway, and try and get out before someone can kick them out or arrest them. So that's real guerrilla filmmaking. Luckily, we didn't have to do that. Our guerrilla filmmaking, which kind of leads into the next point, was kind of taking that premise of doing and going in with very little structure and just seeing what you can come out with. So we didn't really have a script for this film. It was all bullet points. I had all the scenes laid out, the emotional beats I wanted the actors to hit, and then they'd come up with the dialogue completely on their own. Now, of course, after the rehearsal take, I would give my feedback, say this instead of this, that instead of that. I like that, didn't like that kind of stuff, but overall it was their scene to shape in the moment, and all the dialogue was not scripted, it was them reacting to what the other person just said on the spot, which is fantastic. And then the final part of this film's style is the fact that 95% of the film is shot entirely on iPhone. We got an iPhone SE as the secondary camera, and that also recorded a lot of our audio for the film, and then the primary camera was an iPhone 8. So if you don't know, I am very organized typically in terms of making the film. I want to have a plan, a backup plan, so that the film set can basically be a very well-oiled machine. There's a plan for everything, and there's a backup plan for everything. I couldn't really do that with this film because we didn't know where we would be shooting. We didn't even really know what we'd be shooting aside from the main emotional beats of each scene. So this film had basically no planning. In fact, using the emotional beats, I went, okay, they might use this prop, or this prop. So then I went to Goodwill or Walmart, found them for as cheap as I could, and just would have them on set just in case. Our set was basically just downtown Tucson as a whole. We wouldn't know where we'd be doing the scene until we thought, why don't we try this place? Go to this place and decide if it works. So that was just a whole new experience for me. And because I didn't really know what we'd be shooting, it made answering questions from the actors a lot harder because I wouldn't know what we'd be doing later. So when we got to shooting out of order, I really relied on watching the footage back and just really knowing the characters and the story that I want to tell. Because I felt specific words didn't matter nearly as much as the overall message that I want the story to tell.
It's fucking hot out here, dude. My pasty ass can't handle this. Hey. Yeah, I'm yelling at cars. No, I don't want to smoke. This shit's terrible for me. But after some whiskey and a beer, I can't fucking help it, man. Everything I've been going through, and I know I need to stop this shit. I love you, little city pigeon. Please, come here. Let me tell you a story. And he leaves me just like all the rest of them did. That little pigeon can probably make a better movie than me, eh? It's a sad day for Steven, that's for sure. Overcast. You know, maybe I enjoy being so melancholy and reveling in my own filth at some point. I think I'm kind of losing it. Pretty sure I just talked to a bird. Look where I find myself. By a bunch of fucking dumpsters. I pretty much feel like a goddamn dumpster right now. I haven't slept real good in a while. But I'm gonna make this happen. I'm gonna make this shit work. I wanna document all this. Just so when I do make it, people will know what the hell I went through to make it. I got an idea. And I refuse to give up on it. This isn't a good spot for me to be living. I feel like I'm gonna get mugged every other fucking day. These god fucking city pigeons. There's no silence in this fucking city. If you could see like a 30-minute short film, what would it be about? Like to convey a message?
Fine.
Tell me if you could make a short film about anything in the world to influence this world. Come on.
I don't know.
What would you think about?
That's fine.
Slavery? No, okay. All right. Let me ask you guys something. If you could make a movie about anything, what would it be about? What do you feel like needs to be conveyed to
I'd like
even
to
just
see
this-
something climate change related, maybe.
Climate change?
Yeah.
Like green, going green kind of film?
Sure. Yeah.
Like exposure to like
Exposure to...
to
No, I
like-
would say round-tailed ground squirrels.
round-tailed ground squirrels.
Okay.
Hey, we have a pet ground squirrel, bro. That we adopted.
What?
We got,
When we found it, it was orphaned from the, I guess, their little colony.
That's
I don't
dope,
know,
dude.
it's just like natural nature stuff. I'm into nature.
Well said. How all of our lives are gonna end eventually, right? That's a big plot, man. That's a growing plot. What about you? A one film that would move the world. One film. What would it be about? 'Cause I'm an aspiring producer, and I'm trying to get my next film on a roll. What would you want to see? What would move you?
To be honest, I don't know, guys.
You don't know? What about you?
I don't know either.
You don't know? I liked your answer though, brother. That was a good answer.
But like, just shit that matters, you know, like real shit. You
Just
know?
not any
like,
phony shit like fucking robots
yeah,
and
like-
bullshit.
Like mainstream media, you know.
Yeah. No, I feel that. I
Anything
appreciate.
besides mainstream media. I mean, we know people are dying every day, you know. Like we don't
Yeah,
need to turn
I
on
like that.
news.
You
and
turn on the
watch that
news, it's
shit,
fucking
you know?
depressing as
It
shit.
is.
Like this world is in fucking shambles right now.
Yeah, it's coming apart, man. Like,
Yeah.
Like we're a couple steps away from the end.
Yeah, exactly. I appreciate that. Hey, what's your name, brother?
My name's Art, man.
Art,
This is my
pleasure.
girl
I'm
leader.
Steven.
Steven, nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you. And what's your name?
Rita.
Rita. Pleasure to meet both of you. I appreciate a little bit of time. I'm just trying to
Yeah.
figure some shit
It's all
out.
good, bud.
So the cast and crew of this film, this was also another thing that made this film very unique. On the last film, we had the biggest crew yet, we had the biggest cast yet, and this film has the smallest crew yet and the smallest cast yet. In terms of crew, you had myself as director, Luke as the director of photography, Shay as the assistant director, which this was her first real time doing behind the scenes stuff, and Willie as the production manager and casting director, also his first time on the production crew side of things. So in terms of the cast, we mainly had Ben, which it was really nice to work with Ben on this film. I actually met him because Willie, being the casting director, said, "Hey, I know this guy, he's really great and he wants to be an actor. Can I get you in contact with him?" And one of the big pulls that he also pitched to me was the fact that Ben has been homeless in his life before. And that was a huge factor in why I wanted to cast him. Because I wanted that perspective to make sure that we were getting things right. Because you could easily tell this kind of story, but if you don't know what it's actually like to live on the streets, then you're gonna get stuff wrong and it's gonna lose the sincerity that it could have otherwise had. So I said, yeah, I'd love to meet him, and we set up kind of a meeting that was me, Willie, and Ben at IHOP, or it was actually the week that we made that meeting, they changed the name to IHOB, so we met at IHOB, and then just sat there and talked about the story, talked about the character, and went really in depth for a couple of hours. And then at the end of it, he said, yes, I would love to do it, and then we basically started shooting the following week. And kind of on that same note, Willie and Shay, you have seen them, and now this is their third appearance in a Just For You Studios film, and it's always great to work with them, but this was the first time I got to work with them from the crew standpoint, talking about story, talking about all the behind-the-scene essentials that I wouldn't discuss with an actor. And yes, they always knock it out of the park with acting, but adding that extra layer of difficulty by making them a crew member as well, I think was a challenge that really benefited them. Shay had a lot of good input, and Willie was there on set for pretty much the whole time, just helping out wherever he was needed. And again, just another voice to add perspective, to just keep everyone in check, to make sure that the message is not getting lost, which again, making sure the message got through was the main thing I wanted to convey with this. So that was the behind the scenes of Houseless. I hope you guys enjoyed. Maybe you learned a little something, or maybe you just got a clearer idea of what it was like to make the film. But either way, I hope you got something from it. So the last behind the scenes, I didn't announce this film, Houseless. I just said that stuff was in the works, and I'm gonna say that again. We kind of have a rough idea of what we're doing next, but nothing that's concrete enough to confirm. So make sure that you're subscribed to the Just For You Studios channel on YouTube, or I guess, following the Just For You Studios page on Facebook. We'll give you guys updates, show you some of our other stuff, and then you'll probably hear in the not too distant future what our next film is gonna be. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you when we release our next film. And definitely gonna go back to the coffee mug and a nice chair. That was not comfortable at all.